Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS FANS. Let's get to the news now. Let's dive into the latest buzz that's got everyone talking among Falcons fans and NFL followers alike. The NFL landscape is shifting, and one of the most talked about topics lately is the potential trade scenarios involving Kirk Cousins. Yes, Kirk Cousins, the veteran quarterback who's been a prominent figure in the league for years, is now at the center of some intriguing trade talks that could have a ripple effect not only for his career, but specifically for the Atlanta Falcons' future plans. And no, it's not just idle speculation. Recent reports from ESPN and other major outlets have outlined possible trade packages, with the Minnesota Vikings emerging as the frontrunner to acquire Cousins. This news has sent shockwaves through the NFC South, especially considering the Falcons' ongoing quest to find stability at quarterback and to build a team capable of competing at the highest level once again. But before we get into the details of these trade proposals and what they could mean for Atlanta, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. The Falcons have been navigating a bit of a roller coaster ride over the past few seasons. After a promising 2022 where they showed flashes of potential, last year was a mixed bag, an inconsistent offense, some defensive struggles, and a team that's clearly still in transition. The quarterback position, of course, remains at the forefront of everyone's mind. The Falcons invested heavily in Desmond Ridder, a promising young quarterback, but the jury's still out on whether he's the franchise guy or if they'll need to explore other options. And that's where Cousins' name comes into the picture. The idea of adding a veteran with his experience and leadership qualities has been appealing to many, but the path to acquiring him isn't as straightforward as it might seem. So, what's the latest? Recently, ESPN's Falcons reporter Mark Raimondi took a deep dive into the tumultuous relationship between Cousins and the Vikings, and he outlined some fascinating trade scenarios that could reshape the NFC South. According to Raimondi, the Vikings have become the favorite to land Cousins, especially with new trade proposals circulating that make a lot of sense for all parties involved. These proposals aren't just random guesses. They're carefully crafted packages that consider Cousins' contract, the Vikings' roster needs, and the Falcons' desire to bolster their QB room. The first trade offer from ESPN's Dan Graziano involves the Falcons sending Cousins to Minnesota in exchange for a 2026 fifth-round pick, a 2027 seventh-round pick, and some cash considerations. Now, at first glance, that might seem like a modest price, but when you think about it, it's actually quite a strategic move. Cousins, at 37, is a seasoned veteran who's still capable of leading an offense, and he's been one of the more productive passers in the league over the past decade. Graziano points out that Cousins himself wants a chance to start, and he's likely to use his no-trade clause to select a destination where he can compete for a title and perhaps even end his career on a high note. Minnesota, for their part, might be willing to part ways with him if the right deal comes along, especially considering they're in the process of rebuilding and looking for younger options. What makes this scenario particularly interesting for the Falcons is the possibility of a reunion of sorts. Cousins played his best football with Minnesota, and he left the Vikings with the third most passing yards in franchise history. His departure was emotional, a bittersweet farewell that left fans and the organization with a lot of respect for what he brought to the team. Now, with the Vikings seemingly open to trading him, could this be a chance for him to come back? But this time, in a Falcons uniform. It's a tantalizing thought for fans who remember his leadership and production on the field, but there's more. Another proposed trade scenario from Seth Walder offers a different angle. Instead of a package involving multiple picks, Walder suggests a one-for-one swap. Kirk Cousins for Sam Howell, the promising young quarterback from Washington, with some cash considerations involved. This deal, at first glance, might seem like a downgrade for Cousins, especially considering Howell's limited experience. However, the real motivation here is about moving past the Cousins era and giving the Falcons a fresh start with a different quarterback. The key thing to remember is that Cousins has openly expressed his desire to be a regular starter, and if the Falcons could acquire him, it could bring immediate stability and veteran leadership to a team still searching for its identity. And let's not forget, the context of this potential move is heavily influenced by the quarterback situation in Minnesota. The Vikings are in a bit of a transition, especially with the recent emergence of Jalen Carter and other young talents. Plus, with the recent injury issues surrounding young quarterbacks like J.J. McCarthy, who's been rehabbing from a major knee injury, the Vikings might see Cousins as a stabilizing presence in the short term while they rebuild their roster for the future. Reuniting Cousins with head coach Kevin O'Connell, who was instrumental in his success in Minnesota, adds another layer of intrigue to this whole saga. It's a classic NFL story of a veteran seeking one last shot at glory, and a team looking to shore up its quarterback position with experienced talent. Now, what does all this mean for the Falcons? Well, it's clear that Atlanta's front office is always looking for ways to improve the roster, especially at the quarterback position. Whether they actually pursue Cousins, or perhaps explore other options, it's evident that they're keeping their options open. The NFL is a league where circumstances can change rapidly, and an opportunity to add a veteran like Cousins could align perfectly with their timeline. Plus, with the NFC South becoming more competitive every year, especially with the Carolina Panthers, New Orleans Saints, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers all trying to find their footing, the Falcons need to stay aggressive. This potential move isn't just about short-term gains, it's about setting the stage for sustained success. Cousins, with his experience, could help mentor younger players on the roster, elevate the offensive game plan, and bring leadership that the Falcons desperately need. The key question now is whether Atlanta's management will pull the trigger on one of these trade scenarios or explore other avenues in free agency and the draft to find their franchise quarterback of the future. And what about the fans? Well, I know you're all eager, just as I am, to see how this story unfolds. The Falcons have a rich history, a passionate fan base, and a team that's been on the cusp of greatness for years. The idea of bringing in Cousins to lead the team into a new era is exciting, but it also comes with questions. Can he adapt to the Falcons' system? Will he mesh well with the young core? And most importantly, can he help take Atlanta back to the Super Bowl? These are the questions that keep us all glued to our screens and game days. We've seen glimpses of what the Falcons can be when everything clicks. The 28-3 comeback against the Patriots in 2017, the explosive offense of the early 2010s, and the passionate defense that has shown flashes of brilliance. But consistency has eluded them, and that's why the quarterback position remains a critical piece of the puzzle. The NFL landscape is ever-changing, and with teams like the Vikings possibly looking to move on from Cousins, the Falcons could find themselves in the right place at the right time to make a bold move. In the end, it's all about perspective. The NFL is a business, and trades are part of the game. But for Falcons fans, this is about hope. Hope that their team will make smart decisions, that they'll find the leadership they need to compete at the highest level, and that the future is bright. Whether or not Cousins ends up in Atlanta, one thing is clear: the offseason is never boring, and the Falcons are always in the mix when it comes to big moves. As we keep an eye on the latest developments, remember that the NFL is a league of surprises. Sometimes, a single trade can change the course of a franchise for years to come. So, stay tuned, keep supporting your team, and get ready for what promises to be an exciting, unpredictable road ahead. The NFC South is heating up, and the Falcons are right in the middle of it, poised to make bold moves that could define their future. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all this? Do you think the Falcons should pursue Kirk Cousins? Or do you believe they should focus on developing Desmond Ridder or maybe exploring other options in the draft? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons organization. Every fan voice counts, and your insights could even spark a lively debate among the community. Remember, this team is built not just on players and coaches, but on the passion and engagement of the fans. So don't hold back, share your predictions, your hopes, and your concerns. And don't forget, I'll be back very soon with more updates, rumors, and expert analysis on everything Atlanta Falcons. We're in the middle of an exciting offseason, and the next few weeks could bring some surprises that will shape the Falcons' 2024 season and beyond. Whether it's a trade for Cousins, draft picks, free agent signings, or coaching changes, we'll be here to break it all down for you. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and keep supporting your Falcons through the highs and lows. This is what being a true fan is all about, and together, we're building something special for the future. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Falcons.